What's up everyone, it's Mark from Silence Tech. AMD's newest 3rd gen Ryzen CPUs are here and they have a whole new lineup of processors to compete against Intel, and boy oh boy have they upped their game this time around. Today we'll be checking out two processors, the 3700X and the 3900X. I've recently just got back from holiday, which hasn't left me a lot of time to review these. Nevertheless, with the little testing I have done, AMD's newest lineup of processors are very impressive. AMD's 3rd generation mainstream CPUs have officially been released today. The Ryzen 9 3900X retails for $499 US, and can I just say, this is going to be my go-to CPU for gaming and editing. It's an absolute beast, featuring a base clock of 3.8 GHz, boosting all the way up to 4.6. This mainstream CPU has 12 cores and 24 threads. The other CPU I have is the more affordable Ryzen 7 3700X with a base clock of 3.6 boosting to 4.4 GHz, and it has 8 cores, 16 threads, and it retails for $329 US. Both of these CPUs feature a brand new architecture from AMD Zen 2, which has improved bandwidth and utilization. There's been a lot of changes over the last generation, greatly improving gaming and performance with work-related tasks that I'll get into a little later on. Before we move on to testing, let's check out this Ryzen build. Housed inside Corsair's 680X case, the 3900X has been paired with an ASRock X570 Tai-Chi motherboard. The new X570 chipset has a whole host of new features and improvements, but please note you can still use X470 motherboards as they are fully compatible with Ryzen 3rd gen CPUs, although one benefit if you upgrade to X570 is PCIe Express Gen 4, which greatly improves bandwidth. My test build also features an Aorus NVMe Gen 4 2TB M.2 SSD, and these drives utilise the new PCIe 4.0 platform massively, increasing read and write speeds on the X570 based motherboards and 3rd generation CPUs. Comparing my speeds to my other Intel based PC, the increase is more than significant. My test system has 16GB of G.Skill Trident Z DDR4 running at 3600 MHz via XMP. Ryzen 3rd generation CPU support up to 128GB in a x4 32GB configuration. These new processors have greatly improved memory controllers that, as far as I can tell, are far more resilient to high-speed memory kits. From my testing, any issues in the past from previous generations are completely gone. Cooling the 3700X and 3900X is an AIO from Corsair, the H100i Pro, and the GPU I've used in all of my testing is a Strix GTX 1080 Ti. Well, that's the system I've used for all my testing. Let's check out the results and jump straight into Cinebench. My Ryzen 9 3900X at stock speeds on a single threaded test scored a whopping 525, but over several runs it was hitting around the 510 mark. AMD's 3700X only comes in slightly lower, but both have an excellent single core performance. The multi-threaded tests, my highest with the 3900X was 7134. 4978 with the 3900X, although I would like to retest that a lot more as I believe that score was a little low. Overclocking the 3900X was as simple as applying a fixed voltage and frequency in the BIOS, as well as enabling XMP, increasing DDR4 speeds. This method will apply an overclock to every single core. My overclock was set to 4.2 GHz at 1.35 volts, and I'm sure that can be improved even further. I haven't had long with these CPUs. That overclock increased my Cinebench multi-threaded test to 7415, a nice improvement over stock. For a comparison, an Intel 9900K overclocked to 5 GHz should expect to hit around the 5300 mark in a multi-threaded test, so the 3900X absolutely smashed that. Regarding single core performance, my advice with my limited knowledge would be to run stock settings and just enable AMD's precision boost and have XMP enabled as well in the BIOS. Single core performance hits up to 4.6 GHz, and with that enabled you'll hit 4.6 GHz for longer periods of time, giving an overall better performance. If we take a quick look at 3D Mark's Time Spy, my 3900X came in at 11450 compared to the 9900K's 11524 in the CPU benchmark. Time Spy must go off single core performance, that's the only reason they're so close, which makes sense since Time Spy is primarily for testing gaming performance. Moving on to games, let's check out some benchmarks to see how both of these Ryzen processors compare to Intel's most sought after mainstream processors, the 9900K, and because I don't own a 9700K for testing the 8700K, but expect results to be fairly similar. Well, in summary, AMD's Ryzen 3700X and 3900X are extremely close to Intel's 9900K and 8700K, but slightly trailing behind in games. But when you factor in a much higher core count, resulting in a huge improvement in multi-threaded applications, Ryzen right now is a clear winner in my opinion. The 3700X is around $150 cheaper, and I imagine that's going to be an extremely popular CPU. An argument could be said if you're a straight up gamer, Intel is still the one to go for. With that said, if you do any content creation or streaming, you would be absolutely mad to pick up a 9900K over the 3900X, since it has so many cores, a strong single core performance, PCI Express Gen 4, improved latency, the list goes on and on. AMD have outdone themselves. They've really listened to gamers, content creators, streamers and editors, and delivered an X570 platform that not only improves greatly over the previous generation, but X570 sets the bar for a mainstream platform. All I have to do now is transfer all my files over from my Intel build over to the Ryzen one. I really hope you've enjoyed my review on the 3900X and 3700X, as well as a quick rundown on the new X570 platform. My name's Mark from Silence Tech. I shall see you all very soon. Goodbye.